Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Ron McKinney with Potty Do Photo. We have a lot of people here to talk about the 2020 Dance Photography Conference that we had in Phoenix. And as we prepare for the 22 conference that we're going to have in Austin. And I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to talk a little bit, about, what that conference was like, and for people who are just considering to come for the first time, they can kind of hear from people who were there, what it was like. And I'm gonna kind of just leave it open, so you guys, you may want to put your hand up or something if you have something to say, and I'll try and pull you in. Okay, I think that probably would be the best way to do this. And so let's just talk about, many of you, for 2020, you didn't know anything about it. It was kind of like a leap of faith. It was a brand new organization. Many of you did not know each other. And it was, a real leap of faith to come to the conference. And so if you can possibly, let's just start talking about that, about, what it was like to make your decision to come to something that was brand new, and then what it was like to actually do that. And we'll go with specific questions in a little bit. So who wants to start? Okay, go ahead. Maria, turn, there you
go. Okay, so I had personally never been to any photo conference ever. I've never been to Imaging or Sync or the one they have in Chicago. I don't even know what that's called. I've never been. And so for me, it was just kind of like, I've been getting into dance photography the last few years. So when I saw this come up, I was like, oh, this sounds like so much fun. And, I convinced my husband to let me go. And kind of like what you were saying, like many of us didn't know each other. I did know one other person that was going. He's a local photographer here, Rick Star One. And so he kind of told me about it. And so, but we didn't travel together, or heck, we hardly even saw each other while we were out there. But I was able to make some really amazing friends prior to going. I actually stayed with people I had never met in my life, because I'm just kind of like that. I'm a really extroverted person. So I stayed in a room with 4 other girls, maybe 5 other girls. I don't know, Camilla could probably tell me, but we stayed in a room together and hung out. And I walked away with lots of friendships and people I still message like every day. I message Bill and Derek and all of them. We talk all the time. So that was kind of cool.
Cool. Who else wants to jump in?
I'll say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to say, I've been to conferences and different things, and I didn't really know what to expect when I first signed up. But I have to say, when I finally got there, it was the most awesome conference I think I've ever been to. I mean, just making friends, and the amount of activities and things to do, and just everything. I think the classes were great. The photo walks were awesome. There was nothing bad about it. Not a single thing. I mean, the location, it just blew me away. So I honestly have to say, I mean, I've been to a lot of conventions, and this was just, the best.
Great, thank you, Bill.
I love dance too, so.
All right, Michael, go ahead.
I think the first thing that drew me into the conference was, of course, the speakers, right? You see the speakers that are there, and you're like, okay, with like Jordan Matter and Rachel Neville, like, I mean, how could it go wrong, right? So right away you're like, okay, there's these cool people are there, let's go. But what really hit me, what made it like the best experience ever is when I first arrived and we first met up before the conference, and I got to speak to everybody, and we could see the excitement that everybody had. It's like it set the tone. Like I knew the day before that this thing was going to be amazing. It was going to be fun, and then every single day after that, it was the exact same thing. Even if I didn't go to the classes, even if I didn't, shoot, it was, the interactions with every single person. And then from that, of course, the relationship and friendships you got from around the world is just, I don't know, Like, that's the whole reason I'm going again. Like, I mean, I don't even need to know the speakers yet. I'm going there because I just want to be with everybody that's there and doing what I want to do. And that alone is making me want to go. I'm sure the speakers are going to be awesome for the Austin one, but I'm okay with just going out and hanging with all you guys.
So wait, how many days are you going to go? Because I know I'm going for at least 5. That's how great it is.
So it's funny actually, because my parents have a house in Phoenix. So now I think I'm going to be flying to Phoenix a week before and spending some time there and then flying down to Austin. So I'm probably going to go a total of 2 weeks and probably spend about 8 is my plan.
Awesome.
I want to go before, I mean, Anna has invited us to show us around and everything. So I'm going to make it a whole trip, which reminds me, Ron, you should make an all-inclusive 7-day ticket where you can get food, everything's drinks, everything's paid for 7 days, because I would sign up for that right now.
So would I.
I'd have to agree with Michael on that. Before going to the conference, I was like a complete introvert. I would not talk to anyone. And when I got there, I'm like, oh, you do dance photography too? Like, I completely came out of my shell. And, it was great. I loved every minute of it.
Nina, I hear that a lot, where some people say that, oh, I don't know, like, do I belong? Am I worthy even? Something like that. And it's like, I think it's a place where we all belong, no matter what your skill levels are, because we have every skill level you possibly can, from, David Cooper starting as an attendee last time, we had him of course teach, but he originally came as an attendee to, like Nina, you came here as a student, and that was really amazing. And I think everyone in that whole frame can, really get something out of this. But the coolest thing you get out of it is just like what several of you have already talked about, and that is, just the networking and the friendships that you get out of it. Go ahead, Mike.
I think it's really cool what the conference did for the dance photography world in general, like overall. It was able to collectively bring everyone together in one concentrated space. So no matter what skill level you were, from beginner to professional, that some of us look up to as peers, they were all in one now community where Shark Cookie is talking daily, and Rachel Neville's piping in, and Jonathan Givens is popping in, and everyone is talking about how to better yourself. Everyone is rushing to give good compliments or good resources, and it put everybody in one area. So whether you're intimidated or not, it's a group where you're pushing your creativity, you're pushing your limits every day, because you're anxious to share amongst the group and go, is this good or is this bad? And can I have help, or how can I improve on this? And the conference was able to bring this collective of 600 plus dance photographers that we are all on islands all by ourselves, are now concentrated in one area, all moving together for one purpose, and that's to improve the dance photography world as we know it.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mike. Who else wants to step in? Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to echo what everyone else said. I came on my own. I had to travel 17 hours or whatever, and get flights, and I was really apprehensive because I didn't really know what to expect, and I just had an invite via a random email, but it was so great because the community was just so incredibly welcoming. And I was thinking about it based on what other people have said, and like, dance photography can be incredibly solitary. I'm the only one for hundreds of miles. So it's not often that you get the opportunity to really geek out with people who get it and who understand the kind of unique challenges that we all have to face. And as well, like, I don't know how you would even describe this, but with everyone being there, it felt like a very safe place to kind of talk to, you feel like you could just walk up to anyone and talk to them about dance photography, and as well talk to the speakers about things that you maybe problems that you have that you maybe wouldn't want to admit, in other contexts, and kind of talk to them about failures and how they've overcome things. And yeah, I just thought it was such a great kind of atmosphere.
Okay. Go ahead, Catherine. You need to turn your audio on.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I want to kind of give you all a perspective from somebody who missed the conference.
Okay.
I so desperately wanted to go. I had a conflict that I could not resolve, but I've been part of the group, and I have to say it's my favorite group to hang out with. And I'm so jealous that you all know each other, and I've gotten to meet a couple through Clubhouse, like Heather, and so I think. I mean, I'm sure every one of us is part of other groups, and we've gone to other, conferences. It really is a special group of people. So I'm like all ready to sign up for Austin, and, just keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you. Like one question that came up, prior to the conferences, holy cow, Ron, like it's expensive, like the resort rooms are expensive. And like the price we have to pay is, that you have to pay as an attendee is really driven by how much we have to pay to be at that resort. And so some people were saying, it's really expensive before the conference. And then they got there and they saw, we pick places where you can walk outside the classroom and go 40 or 50 feet and start doing a photo shoot. We do that intentionally, where, then you can go out into the grounds and go, further out, and there's other amazing places to shoot right there on the resort grounds, because, we have those photo walks going on at all times, whether they're teacher led or whether you go and check out a dancer and you're doing it on your own. And that was really important. And so after the conference, I think everybody was talking about, wow, it was definitely worth it. Would you guys agree? What kind of comment do you have for that?
I think speaking of that wise, I think it was great because I forgot one of my batteries in my hotel room, and I was like walking back and I was like, oh, here's a dancer. Okay, snap a picture. Oh, here's one. And as I got back to the conference room I was in, I must have got like 10 shots of dancers just walking from my hotel room to the conference room.
Anyone else? Michael?
I think, at first, yeah, it was expensive. And of course, like you mentioned, when you get there, you realize that it's really like, how did you put this on for that little cost kind of thing is what it came out to. But even like looking back now, like I haven't done many conferences, but I've done workshops and stuff like that. And you spend money and you always get something out of it. And you look back a year and you say, how did that help me grow my business or make money? And when I look back at the Pas de Deux, the people I met and the resources from around the world at different levels and experiences, the knowledge I get from that has helped me grow, right? So, and offer new things and do things differently that is bringing me money. So in the end, I always believe that it pays for itself. Like down the line, it's eventually going to pay for itself and bring your business even further. So it's expensive, but if you want to get to that next level, sometimes you just gotta jump in, do it, because you will get it back. It will come back in some time. So it's to me, it was even the next one. I'm like, take it as a vacation, have fun with it, but that money will come back in future business and in relationships, and even just like like Maria sending me some information about ambassador sessions and like the way she does it comes back like 10 times as much. So I will never think it's expensive. So
cool. Mike, and then Heather.
I'm gonna echo what Michael said, and it's all about application. If you go there just to write stuff on a piece of paper and then go home and go, oh, woe is me, I can't do anything, then you're gonna lose money. If you put action and feet to the pavement and you actually do what you learn from the conference, then you're gonna make money. I will tell you that I would have not survived 2020 had it not been for the conference and learning about the rain experience and having the confidence to do the rain experience in my hometown. and I would have not been here today or had a studio today had it not been for the succession of the conference, what I learned at the conference, and then applying that into my own business model to make the money that I needed to in 2020 to survive.
Sounds good. Heather.
I just want to say I did not get to go to the conference. I knew about it, but I had already had some commitments, and I'm actually newer into the Facebook group, and I feel very welcome, and I feel like I've made a lot of great friends already in the few months I've been in here. One thing that before this call started, Michael had a little clubhouse pop up, and I popped in. We were chatting, he was waiting for this meeting to start. And one thing he said, which I think was really smart and a good way to think about it, was yes, it's expensive. The conference itself is not as expensive, but the whole package, is a little pricey. But he bought his ticket, and then he's going to do the hotel, and then he's going to do the airfare. So we've got a year to plan for it. Little increments makes it not feel like such a a hit in the checkbook, all at once. So I just thought that was a great way to look at it, Michael, and I plan to do the same thing, and maybe make it into a vacation for the family and whatnot. But I think that was a really smart way to think about it.
Cool. Let's go. Okay, go ahead, Kristen.
So my perspective is a bit different because I was local for the first conference. I'm in Arizona. So I happened to come upon it 2 weeks before it was happening. And unfortunately, I'd already signed up for WPPI. So I thought this is going to be way too expensive to try to do another conference. I luckily ended up being able to volunteer. So I did volunteering half the time and getting to join in on classes and photo walks half the time. But it kind of circles back to the expense of the resort. When I look back at it, I kind of wish I had been able to, I had just stayed at the resort, because I kind of feel like I missed out a little bit on that full immersion experience. So I do think that there's I think if I were to do it again, I would have splurged and just stayed at the resort with everybody, because, then you don't miss out on because I had to think, oh, I got to drive home and then get up and get ready and drive back. And I think having that full immersion experience at a resort like that with everybody is really awesome, and
Yep.
part of the whole experience.
She's talking to you, Anna. Jeannie, go ahead.
Thinking about the cost savings last year, I flew in the day it started and took a red eye out the night it ended, thinking, oh, I'll minimize the number of nights at the resort, and I won't do that next time. I want to get there at least a day early and probably stay a day after, because it's FOMO. Everybody was having fun before it started, and then they were talking about what they were going to do that night. So I will definitely stay longer. And as Maria did, I met some people in the Facebook group, and we shared a room together. So I got to meet Gabby and Mickey that way, and that was a lot of fun. So that's a way to lower the cost a little bit. But as far as the fee itself for the conference, I think you did more to advance my knowledge and confidence for the amount of money of your conference than any other that I've attended. And I don't even remember how I heard about it, but I heard about it early on and registered as soon as it opened, and could not wait. I mean, I just could not wait. I was like a kid in the candy store, try to convince another photographer to go with me. She couldn't go. I was like, I don't care. I'm going by myself. I'm going to have a good time and learn a lot. And I certainly did. So I've talked it up ever since. And when I see people I know, whether they're past clients or friends or whatever, they say, oh, that conference you went to, that seems like it was really great. That's really been good for you. I had a friend of mine who I've known for years say just from seeing Instagram, oh, you must have really loved that conference. And I'm like, yes, I did.
Okay, that's awesome. Let's talk about what your favorite thing was at the conference. Go ahead. Anyone?
The rain machine.
Is that you, Nina? Your
Yeah, that
video's
was it.
off.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
The rain. I would have to say the sunset shoot or the rain machine.
And why? Tell us about it.
I have never shot out in like a location like that before, so it was very cool, and a lot of people told me about Papago Park. And then it was my first time seeing Emerald shoot a bow arrow with her feet. So I wasn't expecting that, which is awesome that I got to capture that on camera. And then the rain machine is, I never pictured myself using a rain machine in, my photography career.
Well, that's cool. And that's one of the cool things is we want to give you new experiences. Hey, I just want to let everyone know that sometimes you might be putting your hands up, but we actually have like 2 pages of this view. And so if you put your hand up and I'm not calling you, just start talking. Okay. Anyone else have anything they want to share that was their favorite? Yeah, go ahead.
I was overwhelmed by the variety and the amount of classes that were offered. I had a very hard time choosing which ones to attend because I pretty much wanted to go to all of them, but I had to obviously choose. So I'm really excited about having more time this time. But the selection of classes was incredible.
Yeah, it was. I and I'm going to come back to that as well in a few minutes because that's often something that people talk about is, oh my gosh, I've got 5 classes to choose from. Which one am I going to go with?
Yeah,
okay, Maria.
Yeah, I think like besides just the amazing speakers, because obviously you guys had some big names there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to meet, so and so and so and so, and I was really like, a kid going to Disneyland. I was like, oh my god, I think that's Shark Cookie. Oh my gosh, that's Jordan. Like I felt embarrassed at how ridiculous I acted. Maybe first time I met some of these people, but these were people that I really like admired their work, from afar. So I was so excited to meet some of them. And then some of them I'd actually never heard of because I am just about 3.5 years into dance photography. So I had never heard of Alexa's, I don't even know her name.
Where's
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it, thanks. But I'd never heard of her. But then I started following these people as I learned that they were speakers. And I was like, oh, wow. But yeah, definitely also the rain machine, I think was really cool. That was just such a cool experience to be able to take those pictures. I attempted to recreate that in my backyard with a makeshift machine and it went okay. I wish I did video, but I think that was really cool. Definitely on top of the speakers, the rain machine was probably my favorite part. I've shot sunset and sunrise and all that, and I loved those experiences as well. But like, unlike Nina, I have done that before. Maybe not in Arizona, which was so much prettier than Ohio, but so that was really cool. The rain machine and the speakers, the big name speakers were really cool.
Cool. Anyone else want to jump in? Okay, go ahead, Michael.
The only reason I'm not jumping in, I'm actually jumping in, but the only reason I wasn't going to jump in is I can't pick one thing. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I can't pick one. So.
All right.
I can't pick one either, but I was thrilled with the photo critiques. I was really, that felt like I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone for sure to even sign up for one. But I was able to get a critique with Taylor, and she was very kind and generous, but also had some great ideas for me.
Very good. Okay, Kristen.
I really, really love the photo walks. For me, that was the best, like, because you're just hands-on learning. I mean, you sitting in the class and learning is great, but getting to go out with a photographer who, has so much experience, and you get to see exactly where they're placing the lights and how to do your angles and things like that. Like, that was awesome to me. But I also, like Michael, it's hard to pick because I also love the rain machine, and I also loved just the kind of little moments with people, like after the conference would end and, before the evening would start. You might, like, we had a little session where we were trying some light painting and, just working with each other. It wasn't an official class, but just those little moments like that too were awesome.
Cool. Okay, anybody else want to jump in? Was that you, Wendy? Did you... Oh, okay. Sorry. Somebody said hi, though.
I think that might have been me.
Okay, go ahead.
There were so many amazing things. I was a little too addicted to the rain machine, but I would say one of my favorite parts was just meeting all the other dance photographers, because even though I didn't know anyone at first, when I got to meet people, you realize they all share very similar experiences to yours, and you just feel like you're right at home.
That's such a good point. And, they were talking about that on that chat the other day, because like the situation is, if you go to, WPPI or Imaging USA and there's another photographer there, first, you're overwhelmed with people. But number two, you don't really know what kind of connection you have with that person standing by you. That might be a type of photographer that has nothing to do with the type of photography you do. Whereas the beauty of, this conference is that, holy cow, everybody has the same interest. Maybe one person might be more focused on studio and another person might be more focused on, doing outdoor, on location. But at the very bottom of it, we are all dance photographers, every single one of us. And that's the cool thing. Okay, let's talk about what kind of advice you guys would give to somebody who is coming for the first time. Okay, go ahead, Wendy.
I would say come early and stay late, because I just barely spent the 4 days there, getting in.
Okay, stop right there. I want you to continue talking in just 1 second, okay? For those of you who were there the first time, how many of you with a raise of hands would agree with what she just said? Exactly. Okay, go ahead, Wendy. Keep going, please.
Need I say more?
No, just talk about it. Like how early did you come and how late did you stay? Or
well, I was only there 4 nights, so okay. I wish that I had come earlier and stayed later, because there was so much, like, I had FOMO. I didn't know it was going to be as great as it was.
But you say you only stayed 4 nights, but the conference was really 2 days and then the night before, so you actually stayed quite a ways.
I did. So I had like 1 extra night basically, but I'll probably stay a whole week, because I'm cooking up some plans.
All right. Anyone else? Go ahead, Anna.
I would say don't skip classes that you think are not part of your current genre, because I did that. I skipped the business classes, and I skipped the outside shoots because I don't shoot anything outside, and I thought that's a portfolio building experience for someone that's going to actually offer that later, and I'm not going to. And then the pandemic hit. And it would have been really clever of me to have incorporated outside shooting more into my portfolio. So, and what I really got out of that trip was a pocket of photographers that I just happened to get it like around Rose Coleman and Nancy, her mom. And then also my roommate who I just met on Facebook like 2 days before I got there, that were all business oriented. Those women, they want to make good pictures, but they're already doing that. And now they want to make money. And so that was really fun to be around them and realize I need to treat my photography like a business. And that just happened to be who I hung around with. And then as soon as I left the conference, I got 2 big jobs and I was able to call those ladies and say, hey, how would you pitch this? And how would you do this? And how would you walk me through this? And they did that. And I mean, since then, Mike Farella has helped me get on another platform that's really helped me. And it's just everybody, I didn't really meet a lot of people at the conference, but Facebook and the Zoom has really changed my photography, what I offer and how I think about it and how I shoot. And I mean, being in the room with Taylor, watching her get the images she gets, I was like, I can do that. I even have the gear. Oh my gosh. And so I'm going to go home and I'm going to put a beauty dish over the dancer. You know, I don't know. I'm probably getting off track now, but anyway, I appreciate you guys meeting with us on these Zoom calls and talking to us, because that's been awesome. I could kick myself for not doing whatever class David Cooper did. I don't even know what he taught, but I hope you bring him back, and I hope he's got like a mainstream kind of thing going on in the next conference.
I am hopeful that he's going to come back and teach more classes at this next one. You know, he's an awesome member of the Facebook group. And when you mentioned Facebook, I think you were like specifically talking about our Facebook group. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Because I bought a ticket, I think 2 days before the conference started, and decided to fly out using miles. And I was like, I would love a roommate. I found one just by posting that late in the game. And I had many people offer. It was so great. And I'm glad I did that, because I didn't know anybody. You know, I don't know any dance photographers around me.
You know, and that's the whole thing, because I think I've talked about this before, that, you know, I started shooting dance in 2009, and it just kind of fell into my lap, you know, through my daughter's dance school. And within 2 years, I was shooting for the Houston Ballet, and things kind of took off. And everything went faster for me than I was prepared for. And I kept looking around and saying, you know, gosh, you know, where do I turn to for resources? Who can I turn to, you know, to help me? Because especially at that time, dance photographers were extremely like protective of their information. They didn't want to share. And the truth is, a lot of them weren't even really dance photographers. You know, they were just people who, you know, were able to shoot these recital portraits, and they didn't necessarily even know a lot about dance. And so there wasn't, you know, they weren't that educated in dance. And that's why I wanted to put this together, was to create a network where we can turn to each other and do these sorts of things, and we'd help each other, and just learn a lot more about dance along the way, and meet some of our idols too. So that's kind of cool. Anybody else have something that they want to give as advice? Okay, go ahead, Albert.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much, yeah. I was under the impression like, wow, this is a pretty this is gonna be a small niche, specialized area, because I've been always, I mean, for ever since I've started dance photography, I've been wanting a actual conference that's just specifically just dance, and it's awesome that that Ron, that you actually created this conference, and yeah, it's helped me grow in my field and everything else, and also, I mean, I got like before the whole pandemic happened. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, I got 3 contracts, and out of from all the learning and all the business classes that I took, I mean, I got 3 contracts, but unfortunately the pandemic hit, and we had to postpone those contracts for a later time. At least, you know, at least I learned how to like approach like a dance companies and also dance studios, and it was great. I mean, it was great, and also, I mean, I love how the classes were hands-on, and then you can apply that learning from the class to a photo walk, and that's how I actually planned my classes and photo walks together, so they would kind of like be right after each other. And also, I made a lot of friends, and I'm glad that I came to this conference, and I'm planning to go to the next one. So I actually plan to actually come in a lot earlier than I did the previous one. So
Cool. That's very good. I've kind of moved over to the other side, and I'm, you know, like seeing some people over here: Jennifer, Susan, Bob, Jeffrey. When I was over on the other page, you know, you guys were off the screen, so I hadn't seen you. Do you guys want to share anything?
I just want to say thanks for doing this. And I didn't attend last year because I was at another conference. And the whole time I was like, because I wanted to be there, but I'm excited to see who's on the speaker list this year. And I think I'm going to go. I have a new puppy, so my life is a little bit crazy. And hopefully the pandemic will be fixed. And yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice seeing everyone's work on Facebook and getting to know people that way before you even attend. It's awesome that you have the group. It's really nice, and thank you.
Well, thanks. Jennifer, I think you were going to jump in. If not, no? Yeah, I'm looking right at you. She's going, I want to talk.
Ron,
Go ahead.
I have a couple things to say. I'm going to kind of echo what a lot of people have already said. The camaraderie from the group was just phenomenal. I mean, I've been to other workshops and other meetings and things like that. It almost felt like some of those were kind of cliquey, where people kind of like, you know, went off in their own little group and then you were kind of, you know, left alone. But I feel like everybody was just open to conversation. Everybody was there to learn and, you know, learn from each other and share ideas and everything. I know that the day before, Bill had organized something, and then a lot of us were just kind of milling around the resort, and we would just kind of see somebody that kind of looked like they resembled a photographer, and we just invite them to come over, and we just kind of ended up at this big long table at the bar, and we were just all talking and hanging out. It was just you know, it was a great atmosphere. It was really fun.
Yep. Cool.
I think actually a bunch of the guys here were at that table. I think that's where I met Mike. I think Drew, Bill, obviously. Yep. Yeah.
Michael and Drew, what other questions did you guys bring up that would apply here?
I can't remember, but I do have some advice whilst Michael thinks of something, which was, before you go to the conference, like, get your Instagram sorted before you go to the conference, because that was like the way you couldn't go 10 seconds into a conversation without someone going, oh, so what's your Insta? Do you know what I mean? So like, have the last however many 9, 12 shots of your best work. So then when you go to the conference, you can show people and you're not like, oh, this is old, I'm really sorry. Like, do you know what I mean? I thought Instagram was like the main way that we all started to communicate.
Cool.
We should all just have QR codes on our placards that you just take your phone and boop. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think, I don't know if we did it last time, but this time we are going to put like your Instagram on there. So, you know, you just look at your thing and there it is. But it would be a good idea to just do the QR codes.
Make the QR code your lock screen on your phone too. That's what I ended up doing, just to make it easier to share.
Okay. Michael, did you have anything you wanted, any questions or anything you want to say?
I honestly can't think off the top of my head of any other questions that we had. I think the only thing that we may have talked about it before in this call, but the one thing that I thought was super cool too is that no matter what level of photography you were, not once did you feel lower or higher or than anybody else. And even the ones that you looked up to, when you talked to them, not once did you feel like you weren't at their level, you know, like it was just, it felt like everybody was the same, you know? And of course, I look at people, I'm like, oh my God, their work's amazing. And I'm talking to them and all this, and I'm feeling, but I'm not, like, in their eyes. And it just felt like a clean slate. Everybody was the same. And that's cool. Like, I mean, even sitting down, having a drink on a couch and having Taylor Farron Morris come and just sit down with us. Like, we're just like, oh my God, like, and we sat there for hours till like late at night. And I thought that was super cool. And like, you know, that just shows you the kind of how everybody's at the same level. It's just, everybody's there, have fun, take pictures, learn, and move on. Right. So it's cool.
I remember that. I actually stopped and talked to you guys for a few minutes, and I'm just going, oh my God, I'm so jealous of, you know, you guys being able to just sit down and talk. I've got to go deal with this other thing, and I just want to sit down with you and hang out, you know? I remember you guys that night.
I think if I could give any advice to someone that is coming for the first time is, don't waste any time. Make sure that you look at your schedule, relook at your schedule, rework your schedule, and be out of your room as much as that might sound awkward, but be out of your room, be engaged with the fellow community, be in a class, be in a workshop, work the, go to the event area and make sure that you're stopping by each vendor, visiting each vendor and seeing what each vendor has for you and your business and how to move your business forward, because that's how you really progress your company. That's really how you progress your own style. And, get with the other people and make sure that you're making those connections, because like others have shared here, those connections last forever if you want them to.
At the same time, that's totally true. But at the same time, make sure to be flexible, because a lot of stuff is going to happen on the fly and you're going to be like, I want to do that. And then you have to make the choice. And there's a lot of times where I had to make a choice between two things and I had my plan. I just kind of went off that plan. I just said, this sounds really cool. I'm just going to go do this. Right. So it's create a plan, but also be flexible, because there's so much that's going to happen that you're going to want to change as you're going. So.
Okay.
Hey,
Angel,
Ron,
go ahead.
I just want to go back to what Michael was saying about the levels, because I know personally I'm not at the level that a lot of you on this call are on, but what's important to me is I'm better today because of the conference, and I plan to be better next year than I am today. I've never felt uncomfortable asking anybody questions. Everybody at the conference was more than helpful. So, I mean, for somebody new that's looking to come for the first time, I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, we all started just like you did. We were all there. And so, that's a beauty of it. And just like what Michael was referring to and you're just referring to, but the one word that kept coming back was just the humility of all the photographers there, whether they were speakers or, experienced pros like Mike, or, whatever level you are, everybody was just so friendly and so giving, and it was just really cool. Angel, I know that you popped in a little bit late. Are you still there?
I'm here. Can you see me, hear me?
Okay.
I'm on my phone, guys. I'm sorry. I was on another call, so a little bit late today.
No worries.
This is not my ideal day for these things, Ron. You're supposed to schedule it around me. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that we're talking about what was great about last.
Well, yeah,
conference,
at this point in time, we're also just talking about anything, whether you want to, like give advice to others, and yes, what was great, anything you want to share, from your experience.
Okay. Well, I just have to say that, first of all, coming into the conference, I don't know if any of you know this about me, I had just finished a 2-year curriculum with Rachel Neville. So, I knew her style. I knew everything I could learn from her pretty much in terms of lighting technique and all that. And I do have a dance background. So part of me was a little skeptical. I thought, well, what can I possibly get, going into a dance conference with such a wide array of different styles? But I have to tell you, going into it with an open mind proved to be a really good thing. And I'm really glad that I talked Drew into coming, because it was a lot more fun with him there. And I think that every class had something different to offer. I walked away with different takeaways from each instructor. No matter what you think you already know about dance, and I know a lot of us have previous dance backgrounds, it doesn't matter, because turning something from 2D or 3D into 2D is an entirely different concept. So photography and dance are only related to me in the way that you can bring something to life in a 2D format. So I think if you can kind of leave your knowledge at the door a little bit, I'm not saying don't come there with confidence and with what you've already learned somewhere else, but also come with an open mind that every class that you're in, even if 90% of the class is stuff you already know, there could be that 10% that you don't know. And it could just be like that, one of those light bulb moments. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. I could take that and apply it in my business. So, and also I cannot speak highly enough about the networking aspect of these conferences. I've been to lots of different conferences. I'm sure other people have too, and you meet people, but then you never talk to them again, or they're not really the same genre as you. At least here, we're all in the same concentrated genre, and you do meet friends. And then it is valuable to have those people in your circle, because you can reach out to them when you have a specific problem that they may have mastered in some way that you haven't. And it's just a blast, you guys. Come on, it's a blast. You get to go to like Longhorn steakhouses with guys from Great Britain who have never, you know, had anything from an American diner before, and the laughs are just, you know, it's a valuable situation. I have video to prove it.
You know, what you said there, Angel, really struck home with me, because one of the things that really disappointed me was when I heard back from, you know, some photographers who were more experienced, and they, you know, would tell me that, why do I need to go there? You know,
Right.
and they would immediately dismiss it, that, you know, I already have all the knowledge I need, you know, what else, you know, can you get out of it? But, you know, everything you were talking about, you know, really drives home why it's important for even an experienced, you know, professional photographer to go.
Right. And I would even say to those people, even if you really think you have your stuff together and that there's not one thing you really need to learn about dance photography, show up just to hang out with us. You know, come hang out with us, do the photo walks, do the early morning sunrise shoots, because it's fun just to have coffee with people that are like-minded. And you never know, you might meet some people that end up being your friends for life.
That's it. And then you might be a speaker at the next conference, because we're finding out about you.
You just never know.
Yeah.
Life is so weird.
You know, another thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, something that I heard a lot, that is that there were too many class options. There were too many things going on. And the truth is, I love that complaint. I really do. And I know that you guys are making hard choices. You know, here's 5 classes for you to choose from, and sometimes you want to be at all 5. And but you know, I love that we're able to offer that to you. You know, and you know, like, and that's why I think that you should come early, stay late, because you're going to be able to find dancers to shoot before and after the conference. But you know, I just think you need to go to as many of the classes as possible, because there's just such a wide array of things you can be learning. Any thoughts on that? Okay, anybody else? We're going to start wrapping up now, and just wanted to, you know, give anyone else a chance just to talk about anything. For those of you who had not attended before, you know, please chime in and ask any questions that you'd like. I'm just kind of like turning it over to you guys now.
Hey, Ron, I just thought of something that we talked about in that Clubhouse chat that's not talked about here, and I think it's super important. We quickly talked about the direction of the conference, what your plans are in the future. I hate to put you on the spot right now, but you know, the direction of the conference and how it's growing, because we had talked about how the family side of things, it felt really great that it was a family. And what stood out to me is your answer to that. And because that is huge, because you know, I don't know, that plays a big role in my decision, right? As well as getting into the community. It's super nice. So
what was my answer, Michael?
So you want me to answer the question too? And I was just, no, I like basically what I, you know, the reason that came up is because when you start for like you're working for a job, you have a small company and you start, it's awesome because it's family, but then it gets bought out and it gets bought out again and it gets bigger. And eventually you turn into this number with thousands of people. And then you start hating your job because it's not the same anymore, right? It's just, you go there, you do stuff, you go home. It's not fun anymore. And so when we talked about through that conversation, you had said, of course it's going to grow, but you have this cap, you know, that you say you don't want to take that family feeling away, but you do have to grow to a certain point. And that's, I don't know. I thought that to hear it from you saying that you have this, that there was nice to hear, you know, that it is about money, but not about money too at the same time. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if we were just about it to make money, we certainly wouldn't limit it to dance photography. But it is true. We had 230 attendees, you know, dance photographers and volunteers at our first one in Phoenix in 2020. We had around 67 to 70 dancers there as well. And for Austin, we're anticipating between 400 and 430 attendees. We're anticipating having a little over 100 dancers. And, you know, the truth is, I don't know that it's going to get much bigger than that. I think like the biggest number we probably will ever get to is 500. And you know, and the thing is that so many of us are going to be coming back over and over again. In fact, you know, one of the things we're going to put on your name tag is, you know, second time, third time, you know, and I think that'll be like a little badge of honor that, you know, hey, look at me, I'm a number 3 versus, you know, somebody who's a newbie there. But that way you can see, oh, this is a new person. I need to welcome that person, you know, and help them, you know, feel comfortable. Yes.
It shouldn't say first time, it should say founding member or something like that. Founding conference or inaugural conference.
Right. Exactly. Founding member.
Say, Ron.
Yes.
How far along are you in terms of the speaker and topic selection? Is there, like, can we suggest topics to you still, or do you have everything figured out?
Ron, I'm always open, you know, to that. And we are early in the process. You know, we have, you know, like we're bringing back a few of the speakers, you know, from last time. And, we're not going to be able to bring back some of the, you know, bigger name ones because, you know, they're pretty expensive, and we want to bring in other people as well. So, you know, like we're expecting, you know, Lois Greenfield to be our keynote speaker this year. You know, we have a verbal agreement with her. So we're pretty excited about that. But, you know, in terms of topics, especially, yeah, you know, I'm always open to it. So please just, you know, send it to me. All right. Any other thoughts? Anybody else want to jump in? Noel, you just joined us. If you have anything to say about the conference.
The only thing I can say is I wish you didn't have it in the middle of New York Fashion Week. But maybe for 2023, we could talk about that.
I don't know. We pushed it, you know, like last time it was the end of January, early February. This time we pushed it to the end of February. And we're going to try and keep it that way because we don't want to go too far into the competitive season. Yeah. And that pushes us a little bit past, you know, like a lot of YAGP. And by having it at the end of February, it's a little bit warmer than it is at the end of January. And
that's true.
So that's really important. So, yeah. And we're going to try and move around to different parts of the country, you know, like, to be honest, our goal is 2023, that will be in Florida, and 2024, we're going to go visit Jennifer if it works out. So that would be pretty amazing. Jennifer, by the way, lives in San Diego.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't mind any of those, but you know, the problem really is, you know, Fashion Week lasts 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe I don't know. Everything is up in the air. You know, if Fashion Week reopens up again, I'm going to have to get my foot back in. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain.
Okay. All right.
How late do you think I'll be able to register? You think you're going to be selling out?
Well, I don't know that we're going to sell out. Like, I think if we got to a point where suddenly it was going over 450, yeah, sure. You know, then we'd have to start looking at things. But the beauty of it is, you know, this is going to be in Texas, and in Texas, everything is bigger. Our rooms are going to be bigger. Last time it was kind of a maze to go from one room to another. And I was there for a long time and I'd still get lost. And this time, everything is all in the same place. You just walk here and go there, walk there and go there. It's going to be so simple. But
well, I'm going to try to go if I can. I really will. I mean, I'll have to see what the schedule looks like and what the pandemic shapes up to be.
Yep.
But
all right. All right.
Sorry, I just got off a 2-hour phone call with UPS, so that wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to add about the conference? Okay. Well, I really appreciate everybody being a part of this. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, like put a recording of this onto our Facebook page in the next few days, and kind of like edit it a little bit and put it on our website. I really appreciate everybody sharing their experiences, and can't wait to see you guys again in 2022. So thank you very much.
I'm going to be in the recording as the guy who came in late and possibly can't go to the conference. Oh, that's.
Ron, do we know the dates?
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, the dates are February 24 to 27.
I'm talking about July Chicago. I'm sorry to be that one to ask about it.
I know. It's just like, honestly, everything just changed here in Illinois in terms of our restrictions.
Okay.
And it's really opened up. Like right now at this moment, we now can have a meeting of 50 or more people, or up to 50 people. And by the summer, I expect it to be even larger. And, you know, we're kind of like anticipating a group of about 70 to 80, you know, for the workshop. So at first we were kind of holding back, even though we were totally focused on putting the conference together. And now I think we're going to start looking at that. And even though it's going to be kind of late in the game, and some of you are going to have already made plans, we're going to try and, you know, put something together in the next couple of weeks so we can do something.
Yeah.
And
doable.
It will be in late July. That's all I can tell you.
What's the I guess the topics for the workshop?
It's really gonna be more about shooting outdoors. It's gonna be summertime in Chicago. We're not gonna be having classes. It's gonna be, I mean, we're gonna have a room, and so we'll be doing a little bit in there, but it's really gonna be more about like getting out, getting your own shots of dancers, and then just having a speaker with you, like leading the group, just like people have described before. So parts of it is teaching, parts of it is getting to do shoots, and it's going to be like in our goal is to have it in downtown Chicago, where you have these really great skyline shots, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Well, thank you very much for being a part of it, and I will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Ron.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks,
Ron.
You bet.